Have you ever thought about how the simplest choices we make can actually reveal some pretty deep truths about us? Like which coffee cup you'd pick out of a lineup. It sounds kind of strange, right? But it's not just about caffeine. It's a quiet little window into your subconscious. Today, we're going to dive in and find out what your choice says about you. And this quote, it just nails it. Long before your logical brain starts weighing the pros and cons, is it easy to clean? Is it the right size? Your intuition, your gut feeling has already made its move. It's this quiet, subtle decision, but believe me, it is packed with meaning. It's like your inner self recognizing a piece of itself out in the world. All right, so here they are, 4 very different cups. On the surface, they're just cups, but each one tells a completely different story, a different psychological truth. So the choice you make right now, it's actually a pretty powerful one. Let's see what it's all about. Okay, deep breath. Don't overthink this. Seriously, don't analyze which one is more stylish or practical. Just feel it. Which one calls out to you? Which one feels familiar or safe or just interesting? Go with that first gut reaction. That's your subconscious talking. Got your cup? Awesome. Now remember, this isn't some permanent label tattooed on your soul. Think of it more like a snapshot. Your choice is a mirror, and it's reflecting who you are and what you need right now, in this very moment. So how does this even work? Well, it all comes down to this really fascinating idea from the psychologist Carl Jung called psychological projection. Basically, we're constantly unconsciously projecting parts of ourselves onto the world around us. We're drawn to things that resonate with our inner world. And that is exactly what makes a simple choice like this so incredibly revealing. All right, let's get into it. If you found yourself drawn to cup number 1, you're someone who really truly values clarity. You find a deep sense of comfort in things making sense, in structure, order, and balance. You are probably the person everyone turns to when things get chaotic, right? You're the calm in the storm. You think before you act, and you value logic way more than emotional drama. If that sounds like you, it's because others see you as this reliable, composed rock they can always count on. And that composure, it's your superpower, for sure. It lets you build order when everything else is falling apart. But here's the other side of that coin. Sometimes you're so busy being strong for everyone else that you kind of forget to feel your own feelings. You might find yourself explaining away your pain instead of just letting yourself experience it, which can create this quiet internal pressure to always have it all together. Now, if you were drawn to the warmth and the lived-in feel of cup number 2, we are entering a totally different world. This is a world of memory, of deep emotion, and the echoes of the past. You see, this cup tells a story. It's not perfect, it's got some history, but it's real. And that's what you value most. You're a natural empath. You can feel what other people are feeling, often without them even saying a word, because you're tuned in to what's authentic, not what's flawless. This emotional depth you have is a true gift. It lets you forge these incredibly genuine connections. But man, it can also feel like a burden sometimes, can it? You might find yourself replaying old conversations, old hurts, long after they're over. Because you feel everything so deeply, letting go can be a real, honest-to-goodness struggle. And wow, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The past can feel like such a safe harbor, a cozy refuge, but there's always that risk that it can become an anchor, quietly keeping you from sailing into whatever's next. Okay, moving on to our third cup. If this dark, solid cup caught your eye, it points to a really powerful intensity inside you. This cup is all about strength, about self-reliance, and an awareness of what Carl Jung famously called the shadow. You're not afraid of the dark parts of life. In fact, you've probably learned to find a lot of your strength there. You are fiercely independent, and you would much rather hear a hard truth than a pretty lie. You've been through some stuff, and you haven't just survived, you've come out stronger. That self-reliance is your armor. It has absolutely kept you safe. But sometimes that armor can feel a little lonely, can it? You might really struggle to let people in, to show them your softer, more vulnerable side. You worry they might see it as weakness, which can leave you feeling powerful, yeah, but also really misunderstood. And finally, we have our fourth cup. If this was your choice, your inner world is guided a lot less by logic and much, much more by feeling. This choice is all about intuition, compassion, and a real sensitivity to the world around you. You're a feeler, through and through. You trust your gut, and let's be honest, it's rarely wrong. You're the person who notices the small things that others miss, the way the light hits a window, the unspoken sadness in a friend's voice. You find beauty and meaning everywhere. Being so open and receptive to the world is a beautiful thing. It really is. But it also means you're more vulnerable. You tend to absorb other people's energy, their moods, their stress, their pain, and if you're not careful, it can leave you feeling completely drained and overwhelmed without even really knowing why. So, what does all of this mean? Well, it's definitely not about being shoved into a box. Your choice isn't a permanent label. Think of it as a message from your subconscious, a little heads up about what you might need most right now. And here's where it all really comes together. Look at this. See how every strength has a potential downside if it's not balanced? Too much control without feeling can lead to rigidity. Too much living in the past leads to stagnation. Too much strength without vulnerability becomes isolation. And too much sensitivity without boundaries leads to exhaustion. We actually need all of these parts to be whole. Which brings us to the ultimate goal here, what psychologists call integration. It's not about picking one part of yourself, like, I'm the logical one, and rejecting the others. No, it's about embracing all of it, the light and the dark, the strong parts and the soft parts. That is where real growth happens. So at the end of the day, this is just a tool. It's a way to start a conversation with yourself. Your choice isn't a judgment, it's an invitation. It's like a whisper from your inner world, just asking you to lean in and listen a little more closely. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What is your inner world trying to tell you right now? What part of you? The logical part, the feeling part, the strong part, the sensitive part. What part of you is asking to be seen? The answer to that, well, it could change everything.